Hello, and welcome to another episode on the Move.Talk.Thrive podcast. Well, we are getting to the tipping point of the year. It is November. We are all tired, and no one knows it more than a parent, teacher, or pediatric professional because the kids are tired. And of course, when they're tired, all the behaviors are coming out. So, we thought it was the perfect time to do a little episode on getting through this time of year with our kids and pediatric clients. So let's not hold up anymore. Let's get stuck in and see how we can implement some strategies to get through the end of the year.
We are child development obsessed, business besties, and mums, and we're here to spill all our secrets.
We have a combined 30 years experience working with children, and each episode we will bring you up-to-date research and evidence-based strategies to set your children up to thrive.
I'm Lizzy Dawson, Australian exercise physiologist.
I'm Emily Mackey, Australian speech pathologist,
And this is the Move.Talk.Thrive podcast.
Hey, Em, how are your kids at the moment?
This is a big question.
I know.
They're tired. They're
Yeah.
tired. I mean, Evie's not in school full time yet, but even that, yesterday, yesterday was we're recording this on Tuesday. So yesterday was Monday, and she normally does school and then she goes to gymnastics, and she's been doing gymnastics for 12 months, and only for the first time yesterday she got to gymnastics and she looked at me and she said, "Mum, I'm so tired." And I was like, this is the first time in the 12 months that you've been doing this that you've said that to me. And obviously it's the weather as well. It's starting to get really, really hot.
Yeah.
And I just said to her, "I know you're so tired." And in my head, I'm thinking, "Oh no, do I make you do the class? Do I not? We've still got like another 2 months until the end of the year and you get a break." And then I'm thinking, "Oh, you're not even in school full time yet." So you have all these thoughts as a parent. But, and then both of them are just super emotional come in the afternoon, and it's just fighting and emotions. What about your boys? You're different because yours are in school full time.
Yeah, so we're in prep and grade two, and they are so tired. Like
Yeah.
it is. I actually haven't experienced this level before. Marley, who is my preppy, literally before dinner last night, and Monday's a big day for us. I picked them up like at 5:30 from Osh because I'm up at my kombucha clinic. Pete got home at 6. We were getting dinner organized. They were hungry. So they'd been at school from 8:30 till 5:30. And they're boys, so super active. It is hot.
Yes.
And yeah, and Marley was just lying on the floor crying, like just lying on the floor crying. We were stepping over him. And then I can't
Yeah.
remember what happened. It was a complete schmozzle dinner. And I had just seen on social media, those posts that they go, they've done research on families and families that sit down and notice the food and be present. And so we sit down and the kids are screaming. Oh, they're fighting. So they're fighting each other. And I was like, oh, this dinner smells lovely, Pete. Because I'd seen a thing on this in the morning that was like, you need to comment on the food to be like in the present moment.
Okay.
Anyway,
You
dinner was
tried. You
aborted.
tried.
Family time was aborted soon after. Threw them in the shower or like get them into bed. They are exhausted.
Yeah, but then I find that my kids are exhausted, but then at bed they're struggling to regulate and calm themselves down to then actually go to sleep, which is
Yeah,
a never-ending problem and cycle as well because they just need to sleep,
but that's
but their
part of
bodies are
that
so out of
regulation
whack.
or dysregulation.
Yes.
Is that like
Yes,
not
yes.
being able to calm, like they're not being able to turn themselves down.
Yes. And I mean, Isabel's 3. So she's still quite little, right? Like you
Yeah,
sort of she's needing her mum and dad to help her.
yeah,
But it is really difficult because it's just as a parent then adding that into your routine and rhythm, and then it's just been
I have
really
to put
difficult.
both my boys to bed each night.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, there you go. I'm thinking, she's little. I don't know.
Yeah. Am I doing
But
it
then,
wrong? There's no way we can't put them to bed. But Marley
yeah.
can't, he can't quite regulate. So he needs one of us to be with him to, like we need a
Mm,
whole routine. So
yeah.
we've really had to up all of those routines. We have had to adjust our expectations and just, be a bit
Well,
kinder.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, we're talking now as parents, but then as clinicians, we also feel this in
Mm,
our therapy sessions, in our clinics. We see it. So we see it with our clients when they come into the room and the parents are a little bit disheveled, feeling tired. The kids are feeling disheveled and tired. Like, school routines go out the window. So they obviously having practice for concerts and holidays and
mm,
programs, and it's all out of routine. So we see that with our clients, we see that with our parents as well. And then we also see it from a business point of view as our cancellations increase and people are chopping and changing appointments, which is probably what we don't want them to be doing at this time of year. We need them to be stable in their appointments and
yeah, that's
stable
right.
in creating predictability. But I do think what you said there, creating a routine and keeping things the same as much as you can in the small ways does actually help to calm
Yeah,
them, like as a
yeah,
solution and a
yeah,
strategy.
yeah.
Doesn't have to be major,
Yeah,
but they know
that's
what's
right.
expected, they know what's coming.
Yeah, I think routine provides security. I think they need security, so they need to know what is expected of them. They need to know what's coming next. I think from a scheduling perspective, this is important so that therapy is continued. So I think we should be encouraging our clients to not drop out in term 4 and to maintain that, and that we will alter therapy to make it accommodating for them to assist
Mm,
with the dysregulation. Because I think if you take a dysregulated child that struggles with regulation or developmentally, and then you take the therapy that is supporting them from that, it's only going to cause further dysregulation. Now, of course, there are instances where it might be appropriate to stop due to therapy fatigue or just it is very, very clear that they need a change. Uh, but I think that in most cases, making sure that we're maintaining that consistent therapy and we're adjusting our therapy to be around supporting regulation and regulation strategies and trialing
mm.
strategies that in clinic that we can give to parents to continue to practice at home and just adjusting our expectations for these kids and making that focus a little bit more around that stimulation regulation and providing them with strategies.
Absolutely. And just, um, I find that kids are excited at this time of year. They're excited for Christmas things and particularly November, December, they're excited for that. So you can make your therapy simpler, but then also still go on the principle of following their lead, but incorporate Christmas things, like incorporate things that are exciting for
Mm.
them, even
Yeah.
though it's simple, to help with that, that those therapy goals and that motivation as well, and to keep it easy for parents. Because if you're then doing, say, something, we used to get wrapping paper and make like, little trees out of them in therapy, or we do things with the wrapping paper. Parents are then going to be doing that at home. So you're actually then turning therapy into real world examples of what they can do, but doing it simply with the season that they're in to then help them still achieve their goals, even though it's all chaotic and everything like that is happening. I found that that has helped to calm a lot of kids in therapy, or keep their interest at this time of year.
Yeah, I agree with that. And something we obviously do is movement. And I think that that's something
Yeah.
that I would really encourage other health professionals to do and disciplines to do in their therapy. It might be an obstacle course, it might be throwing and catching or weighted balls or jumping and stomping so that we're getting that input into their body and we're helping them really feel where they are in space and help regulate them. Movement is so powerful when it comes to regulation. So I think that that's definitely something that can be incorporated into sessions. I
Mm.
know myself, I was exhausted yesterday. And I was like, right, the last thing I felt like doing was go for a walk. But I took myself just in my work gear. I wasn't in exercise gear. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go for a walk through the reserve out the back. And I felt so much better afterwards. Like it literally, gets energy pumping through you. So I think that it's a really important strategy and something that we can incorporate into sessions regardless of what therapy mode you're using.
I was reading a research paper earlier today because I was looking at I'm doing a PD for Speak About Girls in a few weeks, and I'm talking about executive function.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, yeah, we've done a few episodes on executive function and all that is, but one of the research papers was saying to improve executive function goals, so like attention, research has shown obviously movement helps, but there was this paper I was reading and it was saying this was in the preschool context, daycare and things, that children who had 1 hour of outside play, not inside play, then came into group time and attended much better. And they had like the exact parameters around it and learnt because they had been outside for an hour doing outdoor play and movement. And then they were also talking about state regulation. I don't know what the other word for that is, but state regulation, like Pilates and movement, is helping them with their regulation, which is linked to executive function, which is linked to learning. So it's interesting that I was just reading that this morning
Mm,
because I was trying to look at how we can support executive function, which leads into regulation, emotional regulation, and it comes back to movement and things. And the paper was actually challenging health professionals because they were saying, yes, we as species can palm that off to the physio or the OT or the EP, but as species, we do need to take a level of responsibility for the child's regulation state in the session, in the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah,
So I was
exactly.
like, yeah, yeah. So it's research based as well. And that helps you
Absolutely.
have the connection with them. And that's what I was going to say before. The connection is what's so important to maintain at this time. So that's also why it's important that they keep coming to therapy because that is a regular routine, but they're regularly connected with that therapist. And
Mm,
so that's where the regulation also comes in,
mm,
is with the connection. And
yeah.
it's co-regulation, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which then moves you into like supporting your team so that they're regulated, which I know we are also going to do an episode on.
Yes, yes, because it's just a circle, which I feel like we've spoken about a lot, but it's just good to have a refresher at this time of year, right? Um, it's not going to be perfect therapy sessions. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be chaotic. This is where parents, you and I are parents, we sometimes come a bit undone. And we then have to go into January and have a bit of a break, right? Can feel like a bit of a slog. So it's making sure that we are supporting parents, supporting children at this time of year and taking off the pressure, taking off, say we normally do 4 to 5 goals per session, maybe we just do two,
Mm,
just taking that to make it a bit more simple.
yeah. And align with the
Um,
parents too. I was talking to one of my team today. And it was really interesting, like her perception of a successful session and the parents' perception. And she found that hers was so much higher, and the parent was so happy because the child, it was a hydrotherapy session and he'd done, I don't know, like a lap of the pool or something. Whereas her plan had been 4 times that amount. But she was like, oh, just to see the mum be so happy with something that I hadn't considered, and I was like, it's
yeah.
just the alignment. You've just got to align on the expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. And particularly at this time of year, right? That couldn't be more important. I feel like sometimes, as therapists, we will up our expectations on ourselves when we feel like the child is a bit chaotic and the parent is a bit chaotic and the time is,
Mm,
a bit, a bit out of whack, that's when we'll increase our expectations, but we really should be decreasing them. Not to decrease the value of therapy, but just to make it simpler and more achievable for our families and to work with the season. And then encourage parents to do the practice in an easy way outside of the home environment, because I think that puts a lot of pressure on them as well when they've got that extra work to do in maybe an unnatural context. Whereas if they can incorporate in every day, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So we'd probably just encourage you, if you're listening to this as a therapist, to think about your children, reflect on each of your sessions and the ages of your children and where they're at in their lives right now. And then also for November, December, as they're going through, just think about any parent education that you might need to do with families around this time in preparation for having consistency. Don't overload parents, but just try to empower them with, simple explanations and things. And then remembering that connection is really important with your children to help them through this time, routine, and then I think reflection as well, right? So just reflecting on your expectations, what's happening, and not getting stressed out if things aren't going to plan and it looks a little bit different. Lizzy and I have plenty of resources to support you with this sort of work with parents and these types of seasons. You can have a look into our courses online on our website. What's your website, Lizzy?
Lizzy
LizzyDawson.com.au?
Dawson, Lizzy with a Y. Yep. Dawson.com.au.
Yep. And I'm emily.com.au. I'm emilymackey.com.au as well. So that's easy to remember. We have loads of resources to help you with this sort of stuff as well. So we hope you have smooth sailing sessions this week, and we will talk to you next week.